Hello.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, and now Robert Johnson.
Yeah, that's one of my co-hosts.
Robert Johnson, one of your co-hosts, and
hi,
Bomay Johnson. Bomay.
That's Scott.
That's
yes,
Scott.
sir.
Can turn my video on.
Yeah, I made a mistake naming an email like 10 years ago. Now everything just is that.
Gotcha.
How you doing, buddy? Y'all doing awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
For sure.
I appreciate it. All right. So we've got Jeff, Robert, and Scott from Good Morning Comrade.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Y'all are live on the radio, right?
We are live on our YouTube channel right now. We have radio. We're going to do Tuesday. We do Tuesdays on the radio.
Yeah. For a community radio station, it's surprisingly like the slots are full. Like it's not. You can't just like, oh, we're just gonna like do a thing. Like no, people like fight over those slots. It's crazy.
Very jealous about
people
it.
Are like, no, I have to do Afro-Cuban jazz at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. And this has been my spot for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I mean, I bet if you get up early, it's really nice if you're doing something, like cooking.
No, absolutely. This is way too early for me. Like I figured we're doing a serious thing, so I might as well do video, but I am hungover right now. I am
Why you're making us look real good right now.
We just went live on our YouTube channel, so I hope you're okay with that being over there.
No, it's fine. It's not YouTube's fault. Yeah.
Everyone sacrifices for the movement.
Unless you were up really late watching YouTube videos, then it's YouTube's fault.
You were up really late watching our YouTube video.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like in all seriousness, I was out till I was like with the wife, and we were at Waffle House at like 3 a.m. as one does. And like honestly, we were talking a lot about labor. Like we were sitting at her and I were sitting at the booth that's like directly next to like the back, not the back, but like where the cooking is, like where the grills and the
kitchen
are. And
you
I'm
mean
just
the kitchen?
Looking, the kitchen, that place. Yeah,
I think I might have fried chicken with the guy who manages that Waffle House.
Oh yeah, at like 3 a.m.
Maybe I've seen him in there before.
It's like a whole thing. Like it's so.
You see some mayhem,
and it's just the man, like you could tell, like the manager, like I don't know, if you probably really know this guy, he's just like he's got this like stack of tickets in his hand, and I'm just like, oh, I'm never getting my pecan waffle, am I? Like it's never gonna happen. And he's just like, come on, y'all, how's that chicken coming? Because this is New Orleans, like you just can't like talk to a New Orleans Waffle House employee kind of way. Because dudes are already plotting. Dudes are like you hear them because you're just there, like you're in their world, and it's just like dudes are like, he's like, if that MF leaves, cuts out early tonight, I'm going too. I'm just letting you know, son. I'm just letting you know. It's like, yeah, I understand that, Joey, but so we've got 3 pecan covered smothers that we really need right now, and he's like, I got you. It's like, how does this chaos like come together and work? Like. Mm-hmm. People could not do that job. I'm telling you. Like if you've done backbreaking labor, which I've done, that's one thing. And if you had to put up with like terrible people, like terrible customer service, which I've also done, that's one thing. I've never had to work a job where I had to like put those things together.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
Also working at Waffle House, you got to be like a bouncer too.
Yeah. Can you fight?
Oh,
that's
yes.
like on the application. Yeah. Can you fight?
I will say I have been watching a lot of this live stream, and I do think y'all have been doing a fantastic job on here. As I watched, especially last night when you had Max Alvarez, and he talked to Carl and Mary Catherine and Layla, the family, the coal miner family. That was really interesting, and like hearing that. I mean, you think about, okay, coal mining, that sounds like a really, really difficult job and all these other things. The fact that he starts talking about like going into a cage, an elevator cage, going down at 55 miles an hour for 3 minutes. I'm just like thinking to myself, okay, I'm done at that part. You know what I mean? And then not even just to talk about like the fact that you're going in there, they have like all these hazards, like he said something about like damp lung or something like that, where if you just go and breathe air in this part of or this section where this release happens, you just die. There's explosions down there. You don't know if the whole thing's gonna collapse on you. Like, no, thank you. That's not for me. This is the work that these folks do every single day. And you got these C-suite guys making $4 million a year, just saying like, oh, actually, you need to take a pay cut.
I mean, I'm not really claustrophobic. Like, I'm like, if I go into like a closet or something, I'm not like sweating or anything. But like, if I get into like an elevator that goes down into like a stone, like the stone earth.
Yeah, we don't have basements here in New Orleans, so I mean, like,
we don't have basements. Like, I don't even know what that's like. What is it like to be like around the earth?
Yeah, you're just engulfed. The earth eats you.
Yeah. So we have been teasing everybody, and we haven't even introduced y'all. They don't know who the hell these folks are that are talking to us on our YouTube stream. But before we let you introduce yourself, folks, remember, this is a fundraising stream. We ain't just doing this for our health. We ain't just streaming for 54 hours straight because we like it. We want to raise money for the mine workers. We are at $54,371. Let's get that up to $55,000. Let's get that up to $55,000. That's only going to take another $600-ish.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get this bread.
What if we get it all the way? What if we get it all the way to $69,000?
There you go. We're going to go all the way up to 100 to the moon. That's the goal. To the moon. So, the donation link is in the description. If you have not donated yet, please do so. The donation link is in the description. If you have already donated, or if you cannot donate, please, please, please share the stream. Share the stream on your Facebooks, on your Snapstagrams, on your Instachats, with your families, in your Signal WhatsApp messages, all of that stuff. Everywhere you've got people, send it to them so that they know what's going on, so that they know where to donate to help the 1,100 striking mine workers in Alabama. We are live right now on the YouTubes with Good Morning Comrade from 102.3 WHIV FM in New Orleans. Folks, introduce yourselves.
All right. So my name's Jeff. I'm one of the hosts of Good Morning Comrade. I am a teacher in the New Orleans area, and I like to talk about unions. Scott?
I am Scott. I have several jobs.
He wears many hats.
Yeah, I wear many hats around the city. And I'm about to be doing pizza again.
Yeah, this guy makes
also
pizza.
Brother of Jeff. You left that out.
Yeah, brother of Jeff.
I think people care about that stuff, Scott.
Well, we are brothers.
You got to fill in the lore.
So my name's Robert. I've had many jobs, a lot of them crappy. Let's see, run down a pedigree. My first job was I worked at a movie theater, also known as the best job. Second job, I was in the Marine Corps. I also worked for Citibank during the housing crisis and sold mortgages.
Oof.
I was a cop. Big oof. Save your oofs for when it's time to oof.
Man.
Like you started with it's all downhill from movie theater.
Yeah. And now I'm a municipal worker, and I work for the city, which we don't have a union, which is kind of shady, but
it's kind of strange.
But we also we kind of
don't have a union in Huntsville.
Yeah, a lot of places with a lot of Jefferson Parish, where I live there. Most of from what I understand, at least, the city workers are not unionized.
But we kind of have the trappings of a union, which is weird because it's almost like they want to keep the union out. Like we have something called I've probably worked for the city a year and a half now, and it's a great job. But within 90 days, I hit something called permanent status, and it's that cliched you literally almost got to commit a crime to lose this job now.
Oh, you have city worker tenure.
Oh yeah. It's like a big deal. My bosses were like, woo, and I was like, you guys can expect a lot less out of me now. I will be,
Don't say that as
I
we
will be on
advocate for due
YouTube.
process.
Yeah, right.
You're going to do a damn good job.
Yeah,
We believe in you.
to the
Yeah.
best of your
Yeah.
ability.
You got this, buddy.
we do this radio show / podcast. So we're on a legit radio show. We've been recording at our homes because of COVID. But I don't know, Jeff, maybe you know when the idea is where people get back in the studio again. But we actually go to a radio station, record the show, and it's on the radio. It's twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are release day. Tuesday is the radio show, and then Thursday is just our podcast that just goes out on the podcast apps. But both you can catch on the podcast apps. Just one, pretty much what it means to you as a listener. Tuesday we cannot plug things and we cannot curse. Thursday we can plug things and we can curse.
That's the difference.
To you as a listener. Yeah.
Also,
we have been liberated from the FCC for the last 24 hours, and we're about to get back on the radio
so
in about.
this is pirate radio,
Let him go.
Back off, and I'm half worried that we're going to get kicked off because we've been so used to doing swears for the last 24 hours.
Whoa. So you guys are pirate radio. You've gone Wildcat.
You've gone rogue.
Wildcat. We're just on the YouTubes right now.
As kind of a behind the scenes, how the sausage is made question from one radio station people to another. Do you guys actually worry about the FCC listening? Because our whole thing is we don't want to. Well, Jeff, you can maybe correct me, but it's kind of like the IRS, the odds. Remember we had that conversation.
Well, I'm the one that gets the emails when an errant curse word gets
that's
through.
Because you're the one that's cursing. You're the one that's the worst at it.
Oh, I'm kind of bad at it.
Yeah, well, so I'm not really worried about it. We let slip, or our guest more accurately let slip, a couple pretty bad ones.
Oh boy.
A couple of weeks ago, and we didn't get a call from nobody, from the station manager or nothing. And that's because I think the FCC nothing happens with the FCC unless a listener calls and makes a complaance.
So we just assume no one's listening.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, paying $1,000 a month and nobody cares enough to call the FCC on us. I don't know how good that investment is, but
maybe only people that listen are not snitches.
Right. Only the cool kids listen.
Yeah.
Only the cool kids listen to that conservative talk radio station that we're on Saturday mornings. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No snitches listening there.
No snitch radio.
That brings up even more questions, because when I listen to you guys, and it's when I listen to your show, it feels like I'm listening to a Grand Theft Auto radio station, or I've stepped into a wormhole, because you guys will have drops and they'll be it's almost like the weird, this is showing my age, the TV show from the 90s Sliders. It's a different reality, because you'll have drops of just I'm an attorney that's ready to represent, union co-workers. Or you're just are you tired of your racist relatives? Or even the Sam Cedar drop makes me laugh. It kills me. It really feels like a GTA station, for real.
And then you see the video feed with a huge Rush Limbaugh face behind us.
And then a TV playing means morning news on the other side.
One TV's Blair and Fox, the other's Means TV. It's really a bundle of contradictions.
It's just sounds like chaos. I did want to ask Adam there. It's nice to meet you, buddy.
You
so you have a background in teaching. You're a teacher too. You do with the union out there.
Appreciate you bringing that up, and I appreciate you being a teacher. I taught high school history in Huntsville, and then spent about 5.5 years as a field staff organizer of education employees.
Yeah.
So, I would love to hear more about your struggles in New Orleans. Certainly, I'm aware of the shock doctrine, neoliberal privatization that swamped New Orleans after Katrina.
Oh yeah, they killed all the teachers unions. There's one school with unions, I think.
Well, so in Orleans Parish, there's actually a union drive, because the way that things have gone with the charter schools, essentially, and I'm in Jefferson Parish. I'm right next door. We have a union, and I can get into that off air, some of the trials and tribulations that we've had over there. But as far as Orleans Parish goes, they're essentially forced to bargain unit by unit and the units are comprised of like either a single school or a network of schools under one charter umbrella, which is like wild to me because essentially it just shattered, what was one big thing into just a bunch of tiny little pieces.
Yeah, it's you went from one city school system, right?
Yeah, one city school system, one contract, one unit.
Now every school's got a CEO.
Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
I was just listening on the radio. They were like, "Oh yes, at this school, the CEO is taking a hiatus, and the principal will be taking over. This principal will be taking over the CEO's duties." I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm listening to the stock report right now. Like,
I'm sorry, but I would not feel comfortable sending my child to a school that has a CEO.
Yeah, Jim Cramer's about to buy in big at this school.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until they have like the equivalent of like NFTs, but for schools or whatever. Whenever they start just like trading like charter school futures, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be great. I can't wait for that one.
They're going to get a good crop of kids in about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm betting big.
Wait till your pension fund is tied up with Ethereum.
We got some good recruits in preschool right now.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, that there is, and I want to give a really good shout out to this. And actually, this is a little bit of a plug. Next Saturday, the Bricolage Educators United. There's a organizing committee of educators at Bricolage Academy in Mid City, which right off of right in Mid City. I can't remember the street. Is it Esplanade? I don't know. Orleans. Whatever.
Which one?
Huh?
Carrollton?
No, totally different part of town. But anyway, they are organizing a union. They've gotten essentially set up a NLRA vote. So next Friday rather, the 28th at 7 a.m. they're going to be hosting a rally to kind of get people, on side for that. It's super exciting, especially considering that only currently 3 schools in all of Orleans Parish have their own union. I think only one of them has a contract. The Bricolage Educators United has been, pushing, and they've gone through all the steps. They've asked for a recognition from the board. The board said no, so now they're going the vote way, and we need to get as much community on board with them as possible. Just like the coal miners, they need the community behind them.
Oh yeah, and I can't imagine the obstacles that are coming with such a shattered school district and a shattered school community. I take it that because these are private or semi-public type schools, that there may be some more flexibility, though, in terms of gaining collective bargaining agreements that you might not get the traditional public sector schools. Is that fair to say? Yeah,
there's been a ruling, and I'm not an expert on this. Most of my experience comes in like a setting with more traditional public schools. But from what I understand, charter schools are, at least as far as the National Labor Relations Act is concerned, considered to be private entities. So that means that the rules of the National Labor Relations Act apply, which, by the way, just to do another plug, the PRO Act, all of the provisions within that would apply to educators in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's actually, despite the difficulties of the scattered nature of your education system down there, it's better to have the National Labor Relations rules than probably the state legislature's rules in Louisiana, if it's anything like Alabama or Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the state of Louisiana. I mean, I know my district has a contract. I think places like Baton Rouge, like East Baton Rouge, they may have one. I'm not 100% sure on that. But otherwise, in the state of Louisiana, especially away from the cities, I'm almost certain that it's mostly no. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's much more difficult to sort of get those. Maybe Shreveport, but I'm not. I can't tell you for sure.
Well, and for comparison, in Alabama, technically there's no law that prohibits teachers or other public education employees from getting a collective bargaining agreement. It's not against the law. A lot of people think it is. It is against the law for them to go on strike. But it's perfectly legal for them to get a CBA. They just don't exist. There's none in the state, and nobody really trying to get one. So that's a little bit of a different dynamic, and it's much more dependent on the state legislature, with some school board policy level, fights. But there's a statewide salary matrix, statewide insurance, state pension. So there are a lot of fights that happen in Montgomery, in the state capital.
Is it mostly NEA there? I assume it is.
For the most part, and there's an AFT presence, particularly in this neck of the woods in Birmingham, Jefferson County area.
AFT is by the city. That's pretty.
Yeah, they stick to the larger urban places, from what I can tell, and it's the same over here.
And
I wanted to mention, Robert, you said your first job was a movie theater. So was mine, and I was fired. I think I was the first person fired from that movie theater. It was a brand new one.
Wow.
Yeah, to hell with them.
This is actually crazy because Robert even doesn't know this about me. We've been on the show for like 2 years.
Yeah.
My first job was at a movie theater.
Oh.
I got fired because the ice machine was in the theater that had Bad Boys 2, and I watched like 30 minutes of it. They were like, "It took too long to get ice. You gotta go."
What?
It was Bad Boys 2. What do you expect?
I worked at like the huge like movie theater chain, and
I worked at the local.
Our jobs did not, like, our bosses were just like, just don't smoke weed in the bathroom.
The walk-in cooler.
It'll be fine. Yeah,
that is awful. They were like, if you're not getting ice, you have to be like lifting something or standing like behind the counter waiting to like sell somebody something. This is a small thing.
You can clean.
Oh
yeah, basically.
Oh my god.
And they wanted me to learn how to.
Dude.
They want to make me how to do like a credit card machine. And this was back in the day when you had to swipe it and then type every single number in.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Oh my god.
I couldn't believe these people would call up and like we had like, oh, you can buy tickets over the phone. Call up and give some 16-year-old kid their credit card number.
Oh, I'm glad I got axed before I had to go in the ticket booth.
So I have epic stories about like. I think I've told Jeff this. Like, I have epic stories about how I stole like massive amounts of money.
Oh wow!
In a video game.
Actually, sometimes I wake up in the cold sweats, like thinking about it. But I had a whole scheme. But
hypothetically, right?
I mean, I guess I could talk about. I mean, statute of limitations is done. I could talk about it. That was like 20 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, why not? It's a good story. So don't ever do this. Like, this is not like I'm such like a cool guy.
Wow.
This is like one of those things like, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid I was. Like, I could have went to jail for the dumbest thing ever. So I'm sure it doesn't work like this anymore. But the movie theater chain I worked at, like, the only things that were like inventoried were like the concessions. So I sold tickets. The ticket drawer, like, one, you didn't have like a normal cash register. It's like, oh, somebody gave me a 20. I give them back, $5. Like, you had to count back change. That's why like all the prices ended in like 75 or 25 or whatever.
That's good.
Right. So you counted back change. And so what I used to do, I had this, and I noticed that like the tickets, we didn't really like how many tickets came through. Like, we didn't like, there was no real audit on that. Like, so I noticed that, okay, so a child's ticket was like $5.50, and then the adult ticket was $7.50. So I was like, oh, it's a $2 difference. So what I would do is, like, let's say you all came, you're like 4 for Big Lebowski. And so what I would do is I would print off 4 children's tickets, and then I would charge you and count back the change. Adult tickets. So that was an extra $2 on each, right?
4 unattended minors going to see the Big Lebowski.
Right, whatever. I was just trying to think of a movie from back then, right? And so what I do is I wouldn't do this every one because I didn't want to make it hot. I would do it like every 10th. And so I would just keep a tally of like how many times I did it during the night. And then I would just wait for the managers to like leave the booth or whatever. Like I knew there was nobody in the office watching the camera. I don't even know if the cameras were real, but I was like, okay, there's nobody in the office. And I would just like turn my back and I'd be like, the drawer now owes me $138 and just whoop. And then just take that right off the top. And then, so what I stopped was, it was kind of like those movies where you always wonder, like,
how did you not get caught?
Like, selling drugs. Why didn't he stop selling drugs? Like when he knew he was ahead of the game. So what happened was I get called in the office. This is like a month like later. I'm running school and I'd probably like take home an extra $200 like every time I work.
God.
And so, you know, in a job that was paying you like $200 off the check, you know what I mean? I was taking like $200 home. So I was like, I was dripped out. I had like the Reebok pumps with the pump, and I had the PlayStation. I had the JanSport backpack that had the tire on the bottom, so it wouldn't like wear out. I had all the drip. My parents probably thought it was like dealing drugs or something, but
that's a really good job you got there, buddy.
Oh, you were just scamming a theater.
I was just stealing from
nothing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Like selling drugs.
That's like a big chain. Like is some big movie theater chain gonna miss this?
Yeah, is a 3-letter movie theater chain.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss this.
But
so let me finish it up. So they call me in the office. I'm like, oh, I'm busted. And I like in my mind, I'm 16. I'm not even thinking like, oh, the police are probably gonna show up and I'm gonna go to jail for this. But like, I didn't even think about it.
Selling drugs.
That's like a big chain.
So stupid. But anyway, he goes, manager goes, I gotta talk to you about your drawer. And I'm like, oh, I'm caught. He goes, it was $800 over. Oh, he's like, I gotta write you up. I don't know what happened.
Did they give you like a promotion?
That's what I'm saying. And so here's the labor thing. Here's the labor thing about that. Here's how it all ties in. So as soon as that happened, when I like signed the write up, and I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again. Like I completely stopped it. I'm like, because I'm like, oh, obviously I'm not as good as I think at this. And luckily it was over and not short. But it got me thinking, like, is like immoral and terrible it is like I stole the company's money. I'm like, what did they do with that money that was over?
Yeah.
Bonuses. They just put it in the drop. You know what I mean? Like the poor man, they just deposit it in the bank like anything else. So you know what? I don't feel bad. Screw it. But don't ever do that, kids. That's not a cool story. Like don't go to jail over like petty crime. Like
Robert, I wish I was as smart as you, man. Basically, I basically knew my goose was cooked. Like after the movie theater thing, and then the boss heard about it. She was kind of like,
"Oh, you got busted for ice. You stealing hundreds and thousands of dollars and nothing."
No, but I kind of had a similar.
Just walking out with garbage bags of popcorn.
Yeah, like $600 a week or something.
But basically, I knew my goose was cooked. My boss kind of like left me a message being like, "Hey, let's talk sometime." Like, so like I'll like go in there on a Friday. I go there on a Friday night, like when they're as busy as possible. And she kind of comes out and she's like, yeah, you know, I mean, she takes the tone. Yeah, you know the tone. So I'm like, yeah, like that's fine. Can I just see a movie? Like, can I just like go see a movie now? Like, it's fine. Like, I won't make a scene or anything. I just like to see a film, please. And she was like, yeah, that's cool.
I got another
worst parting gifts.
Yeah, right.
I got another scam hustle story if you want to hear it.
Y'all got time?
Yeah.
Well, no, we do need to start getting ready. I've got to get on. Yeah, we're going to be on the air in about 30 minutes. So we got to get with the board op that we have up there and make sure everything is in order. So
yeah, let's do that.
We'll have to go ahead and let you go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us, and check us out. Goodmorningcomrade.com is where you can find out everything. And Adam, we got to talk to you. We already talked to David and Jacob. We got to get you on next.
Yeah, I'd love to. Sounds great.
All right, brother. Thank you all so much for having us in solidarity with the coal miners out there. I hope y'all get $200,000.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Take care, man.
Love you guys. Bye.